Dear Diary, today I learned so many things in our discussion. I learned that performance assessment task is a measure of assessment based on authentic tasks such as activities, exercises, or problems that require students to show what they can do. Some performance tasks are designed to have students their understanding by applying their knowledge to a particular situation. Process-oriented performance-based assessment is concerned with the actual task performance rather than the output or product of an activity. Process-oriented performance-based assessment evaluates the actual task performance. It does not emphasize on the output or product of an activity. It has learning competencies. The learning objectives in process-oriented performance-based assessment are stated in direct observable behaviors of the students. Competencies are defined as groups of cluster of skills and abilities needed to a particular task. Like we did yesterday, our task is to perform the proper application in hair rebonding. The objectives are: first, we follow the instructions given. Second, we used what we have learned with the proper handling the client. Third, conduct pre and post test. Fourth, use proper sectioning and appropriate stroke and application. In rebonding, the process is very important because it is the first step to know so that we are being guided. Also, she elaborately discussed that process-oriented performance-based assessment, it has task designing. Task designing. These learning tasks need to be carefully planned. In particular, the teacher must ensure that the particular learning process to be observed contributes to the overall understanding of the subject of course. So after the performance task of the student, there will be a scoring rubrics. Scoring rubric is a scoring scale used to assess students' performance along a task-specific set of criteria. Rubric, which contains the essential criteria for the task and appropriate levels of performance, is typically created to measure students' performance. Task designing. These learning tasks need to be carefully planned. In particular, the teacher must ensure that the particular learning process to be observed contributes to the overall understanding of the subject or course. So after the performance task of the students, there will be a scoring rubrics. I also learned that scoring rubrics is a scoring scale used to assess students' performance along a task-specific set of criteria, which contains the essential criteria for the task and appropriate levels of performance is typically created to measure students' performance. Also discussed that descriptors, it spells out what is expected of students at each level of performance for each criterion. It tells students more precisely what performance looks like at each level and how their work may be distinguished from the work of others from each criterion. Descriptors help the teacher more precisely and consistently distinguish between students' work. Just like the activity we did, for example, first, they section the hair into 4 sections. Second, start applying the chemicals to the back portion of the hair. Third, test the elasticity of the hair. Fourth, wash the hair and blow dry. Fifth, straight the hair using hair iron. She also said that why include level of performance? To have a clearer expectations, students know what is expected of them and teachers know what to look for in the students' performance. More consistent and objective assessment levels of performance permit teacher to more constantly and objectively distinguish between good and bad performance. So that's all for today, diary. Bye-bye.